And you're eating?
I had time to eat when I was driving. 2 hands on the wheel.
It's 11:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's my lunch. It's not my breakfast.
Oh boy.
I don't have the whole,
I hate you eaters.
Chili.
I hate you eaters.
This is a good table.
I'm just gonna wait till you're done. No, I'll be here forever. I'll do the intros. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the shit show. This is one of our Patreon exclusive shows, and you know what? People are like, I'm paying $1, $5 early to watch Taylor eat a fucking McMuffin or chocolate muffin from Timmy's.
It's actually from Walmart. It's a chocolate banana muffin.
Where'd you get that from?
From Walmart.
But where?
In their case packs.
Oh, Walmart. I think you said the mall. I don't know.
The mall?
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yikes.
I thought you were going to say the mall, and then you're going to say, oh, the Timmy's in the mall. And I was going to say, that is Timmy's, you idiot. Because
that might be a Taylor thing to say.
Yeah, which I have a quote here from, my name's Travis Snell. Wow, great.
That transition caught me off guard. I'm Taylor Field.
Well, I thought we should intro the show, but there's one point where, what does Satine say? She says, I'm uncomfortable with this plan, or something like that. And then Obi-Wan goes, I'd be disappointed if you weren't. Other than the romantic stuff, that's definitely mine and Taylor's relationship. I'd be Satine being like, hey, don't do this. And like, oh, I'd be disappointed in her. And then he drives off in some stupid speeder. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just hopping on now, whether you're on Patreon or these are the live episodes when they finally come to the feed, we are reviewing every episode of the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series in honor of the show coming back. We still know when in our little timeline in the world. We just know it's maybe. We don't even know for a fact it's 2019, right?
No, we know it's 2019.
So when is that releasing? Because Mandalore.
I just assumed it would drop probably when Disney drops their app or whatever.
But I think that. What is confirmed? Is it confirmed or is it like your fan page?
No, it is confirmed for 2019.
Really? Because
I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up right now too.
See, the Wikipedia just says the Clone Wars would return 12 episodes at Disney Plus. Because the thing is, the Mandalorian. Is it the Mandalore? No, it's Mandalorian, right? That's coming out when the app drops, like in the fall, and then you got episode 9. I think that's too much Star Wars content. So let's say if the Mandalorian dropped in September, October. Let's say it dropped in October, and then Clone Wars is going to drop in November, and then Episode 9 December. That's way too much Star Wars. Yeah, see, I'm thinking it could be early 2020. Yeah, see,
no, IMDb lists 2019.
IMDb fans can go and change that shit. It's like Wikipedia.
Well, I don't know. IMDb could do that.
Oh no!
Fucking Rotten Tomatoes.
This is what Taylor does. He looks at his forums. He has like 18 Star Wars fan pages, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is the confirmation here." No.
No, but I do remember seeing it confirmed for 2019. I swear I saw somewhere that they listed it.
Sure, but that's what we were doing. We're reviewing every episode in honor. Probably by time, unless you're on Patreon, thank you very much for supporting us there early, getting these exclusive early things, months and months, or maybe even years. If this thing doesn't release till 2021, you ain't getting it until 2021 if you're not on Patreon. So thank you to the Patrons for supporting us and making the show possible. But we are reviewing it in your timeline. Maybe you know the show somehow, but we don't. But we are reviewing it for the Clone Wars Revivals coming up. Taylor's forced me to watch the show. No, I was interested to watch the show. I just needed a reason to because stuff I've seen wasn't the greatest. And we got 3 episodes right now. Where was it? Because I went to intro the show. I was going to talk about something. I can't remember now. It was something about your ranting and your muffins and whatnot. I don't know, because I tried to intro the show so people knew what we were talking about.
Start with that quote that she said.
Yeah, but there's something else. Maybe I'll come back to it. But we got some actual 3 good episodes. If you tuned in last episode, I was not a fan of them. I thought they were a bunch of fillers. Taylor loves all these episodes. He's giving them all 2 thumbs out of 2 thumbs.
Well, I didn't give any 2 thumbs up last time around.
I know. So now let's start with, we are doing 3 episodes. This is the Satine Mandalore arc going on here. So episode 12, 13, 14 of season 2. So the Mandalorian plot. There's too many versions of this word.
Is there? Mandalore.
Mandalorian. Mandalorians.
Okay, come on.
Because I think for months I keep hearing people change what the Mandalorian's called, but the Mandalore plot. Obi-Wan is assigned to protect Duchess of Mandalore from a terrorist organization called Death Watch. That's all you get as far as the description. Taylor, what do you think? Oh, I'm good. You're done your muffin. Look at that.
Yeah. I always wanted, more Jango Fett kind of stuff. And I remember, learning like, oh, we're getting to the Mandalorian stuff. We get to the Mandalorians. I'm like, wow, these passive people are just so like bland, and like they used to be like everything I read about
Warriors.
Mandalorians are like great badass warriors, and anything to go off
Tara
of like
Law's badass.
I do like to go off of like Jango Fett, like that's he set the bar up there, and that just really just got you really into the groove. Like, okay, this is super cool.
I have so many questions.
I want more of that kind of world, and so. When you got to see Mandalore, like, as a kid, I was like, oh, what the fuck? But now as an adult, and I remember rewatched it, like, 10 times. Like, I understand and I appreciate how they tackled it. And that, I totally understand how...
It's got a little teacup for the listeners. Yeah, I got it for my water.
But yeah, no, I appreciate how they've made Mandalore, this passive civilization now and culture based on, like, their history being so war and destructive and everything, and I like how Duchess Satine is displayed as just standing by these principles that she's put out there for her people. And that being said, Mandalore, like as we get further and further on in this series, Mandalore has just got so much good stories, so much like corruption and crazy stuff. Like you don't know who to trust, who to turn to, and you really feel for Duchess Satine.
I know who to trust.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'll get into that some of my cons, but...
The way they showed Death Watch in this was super cool. I love their organization and the hands that they play in the future.
Hand from Iron Fist. Wow.
Well, the fate of Death Watch and how they play into the story in the later seasons is like absolutely phenomenal. Fucking fantastic. Love it so much. One of my favorite things about the Clone Wars. And you'll really love it too. But yeah, this episode was it was pretty good. It was very cool to see like that introduction to Obi-Wan's kind of like love life, and she's definitely my go-to over Padme.
It's just picking sides. I think it's I don't know. I think it's an introduction or hinting something's going on. I don't think it's like till the next episode you get that going on. You just kind of know that they knew each other.
When Anakin gets thrown into the mix, then it kind of...
Yeah. Anakin, always a shit disturber. I got a lot to say about Anakin in this episode. Or these 3 episodes. So, before I get... what should I do? I'll say what I like, and then I got some questions. I thought this was a really good setup episode. This is kind of spoiling some stuff, but I thought these 3... back-to-back are really good. One of my favorite trilogies of what we've gotten so far, arcs. It was really well done. The Mandalorian stuff was great, but also I love the Obi-Wan Satine stuff, and even some of the Anakin things going on. I definitely got some questions, but this episode in particular, one was very refreshing because I was not a fan of the last 3 episodes. I thought most of them were all filler, and that's what always bugs me with this show. I don't get how they can have these 3 episodes, which to me were great, and then the last 3 episodes, which were just, I won't say garbage, but just compare this as like just a waste of my time. Like, so I still, like, I hope this show, and I know I've heard it gets better, but I hope there comes a point in seasons where I never have those filler episodes, or it just kind of stays good to great the whole time. So this was really refreshing, and this is definitely a setup episode, but I think it's better than some of the other setup episodes we've gone in the past. Sometimes there's just too much setup. It's just a lot of talking and waiting, and it's like, oh, the next 2 are really good, the next one's really good. This one had a lot going on with it. You had a lot of action going on, you had some reveals, you had the Darksaber make its appearance, so it was a setup episode, but it also crammed a lot of stuff in a good way. I shouldn't say crammed as far as a negative way. It all flowed really well. So I really liked this episode, and I'll get some notes after. But so the thing is, I still don't think anyone's confirmed this, that I hear back and forth either way that Jango and Boba are or aren't Mandalorian.
Well, whatever
every
Jango
fucking week in the Star Wars canon.
I know. Whatever Jango is, you can automatically assume that's Boba Fett, what he is, because he's just a clone.
But that shouldn't count. Like, just because my dad is like he works in the medical field, just because he dies doesn't mean, I'm also in the medical field. Don't you kind of have to earn or be a part of the Mandalorian, like, people, or...
Well, it's like Mandalore is a planet. They're Mandalorians. Earth is a planet. We're Earthlings. You know, we're humans of Earth.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly what Mandalore is.
I don't know what Taylor's on.
Mandalore gets subdivided into clans, like the
okay.
clan and that sort of stuff. So that's where, like, a doctor is the equivalent of being a clan. You can't be born. You can be born into it, but you have to earn that.
So Jango was from the planet of Mandalorian.
As far as I'm aware, that's what he is. You know,
some Star Wars wiki.
Yeah.
Because I swear it changes all the time. Because this debate popped up again when they announced the Mandalorian. Because it was just like, because in that description he used, just like Jango and Boba Fett, this follows the Mandalorian. And then some people were like, oh yes, this is exciting. And other people are like, someone better tell Jon Favreau they're not Mandalorians.
Fuck. Well, we got into a debate about this before.
We have many times. Because
Yeah.
I don't think there's a clear answer. And that's one thing I will say, because this is, once again, when these release to the public, maybe the Mandalorian's already out, but I'm excited for the Mandalorian part because I didn't say this in my orals. I don't know anything about the Mandalorians. I'm getting into canon now because of the podcast. We have the spin-off show. I did the movies, and that's about it. I saw a few episodes of the Clone Wars, and I guess video games are my biggest canon thing, but not really any video games cover the Mandalorians. There's a Jango Fett game, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
I love that game, but it's not about lore. It's just about him hunting down people. So that's one thing I'm excited for before we get to Mandalorian, that I'm learning more about them and the culture, and I like that. I guess I should have mentioned, I did like that you kind of do have the more like war-hungry, brutal, and the Death Watch. Obviously, they want to go back to the way things were, and you got Centine trying to move forward. So I like that, and maybe this is a spoiler for both things, and maybe that's what the Mandalorian's for. But like, why is this planet still around in the OG trilogy?
What do you mean?
Well, because Mandalorian's a planet, right?
Yeah.
So that, like, is that planet still around? Did it get destroyed at some point? Like, that's what I mean.
Oh no, it's still around. Because
So-
like when you branch into Star Wars Rebels, like leading up to the OG trilogy, like it's still kicking around and stuff.
Okay.
So, and I'm assuming this TV show
Because
will
it's
probably
6
have
years
none of that.
after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So as
So-
far as I know, it's still there. It's I won't spoil it.
Okay. Maybe is it maybe a bit run down? Maybe some bad stuff happened to it?
It definitely has some unfortunate things.
Okay, no,
occur.
that's fair. I just want to know, because it's such a big planet, why is it not really mentioned up until... It's the same reason why I kind of always dislike Ahsoka, right? She's this big deal in Anakin's life in the movies. She's not, because she didn't exist, so it's like nothing's heard. So the Mandalorian's kind of like that. I'm wondering, this is what the show is about, it's off-topic stuff. Do you think in the Mandalorian, he actually... any point in that show, do you think he ends up on that planet?
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
exciting. That's exciting. Let's see. Jango. I like this. Jango Fett's color, skin color, tan, in all caps. Okay. Let's see. It doesn't say anything. I'm looking at the Star Wars, the Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
So this is all I got. Is although Fett wore a set of Mandalorian armor during his time as a bounty hunter, the government of Mandalore regard him as a renegade and a pretender. So that's the same thing. I don't think there's actually been ever any context of what planet he's from.
Well, see,
So
that's
that's
the
great.
thing again too. The Mandalore, the
He
government.
claims to be born on Mandalore, but exact authenticity of the claim was unknown. So that's why. So it could be debated that he either is just lying or he was born. He claims that he was, but there's evidence to show that he's lying. So we'll never know.
There's no evidence to show he's lying. There's no
There's
evidence to back his claim.
Well,
which
okay.
is a very different thing.
There's evidence. That's like the exact same thing.
No. Those are different
There's
things.
evidence to show that he could be lying, right? Because
That's not what it said.
No,
All he is making a claim.
From a certain point of view,
Oh, wow.
you could point that, right? If you say, I'm American, and people say, let me see your birth identification, and you're like, oh, I don't have that, so I could say, that's a sign he could be lying. So that's what I mean. Like the claim could say he might not be from there, but it could also be like he's lying.
It's very vague, but okay.
From
I'll
a certain
give
point of
it to you.
view, Jango Fett's
But
lying.
that being said, the government literally is the same government that Satina's from, and she's saying you aren't basically a Mandalorian, which you don't follow these ways, blah blah blah. You're a pretender, which is the exact same thing she would say about the Vizsla clan.
Okay, okay, I guess so. It's all right. They're more of a Mandalorian cause because you can make the same case from Boba Fett. If Jango Fett is not considered a true Mandalorian, then Boba Fett wouldn't, right?
Yeah, because he's whatever Jango Fett is.
Great. He's tan. Okay, so we got that going on. And before we get fully into this episode, I gotta mention that Jango Fett is easily 100% better than Boba Fett. as Jango Fett killed many great Jedi in Clone Wars and in Attack of the Clones, and Boba Fett died because a blind Han Solo hit him in the back.
It happens.
Boba Fett is one of the worst characters.
You seen Bird Box? You can do good things when you're blind.
I
achieve a lot.
Yeah. Jango Fett went toe to toe with Mace Windu. Boba Fett couldn't even take on a fucking Wookiee and Han Solo. And really, Darth Vader's the one that caught Han Solo.
You said Jango Fett went toe to toe with Mace Windu and got his head sliced off.
But if that was Boba, he couldn't even gone toe to toe. He would have
gone toe to toe.
Pinky toe to toe.
No,
he would have lost.
He would have danced.
Think about all the other Jedi he kills in there, and he takes on Obi-Wan one-on-one. Boba Fett, like I said, Darth Vader did most of his job for him. He caught Han Solo, and then Boba Fett just took credit for it. Boba Fett's such a fucking joke. He's just as bad as Captain Phasma.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's another debate. That's another debate. I want to have a bounty hunter show one time. I thought about that, so we'll do that in the future.
Tyler will get on that, no problem. He's a huge bounty hunter fan.
Yeah, but I think he might agree. Yeah, but he's always he refers to all those canon stuff. And then when I say he's not canon, oh well, that's stupid. And then I go, well, that's the thing. So yeah, this episode was a good setup. Obi-Wan dropping the G word. He says gorgeous. He calls Satine gorgeous. I was quite surprised. And obviously I'd known before that there was some girl-ass relationship and I couldn't remember the name, but now right when I saw him, I'm like, okay, obviously this is the girl that I've heard about in this series. He's very, it's strange in the next episode, maybe it's 2 episodes from now, he's really enforcing the friend word, but I don't know, saying gorgeous, I don't know, that shouldn't be a thing. I don't know, this is another maybe discussion we'll have to talk, I'll bring it up later on, but I really liked when they did attack the Death Watch, they left this gang hologram sign. That was very, very cool, very Star Wars-ish, and a weird sort of... Actually, it wasn't Star Wars-ish, it felt more Blade Runner-ish, but I liked that. I really liked the score in this episode. The score was like a noir type of feel. Do you not like the guy who just scores the show?
No, I do.
I just said if you said who took over the movies, I said him over Michael Giacchino. And
I'd have to listen to both their things back to back, properly, and just kind of really feel it out. Because when I listen to the scores, I kind of go into a certain state of mind and try and relate it to certain moments, to the OG trilogy especially, or certain key moments in all the Star Wars films. But there's something I was gonna say. In relation to the score, I definitely like how they've gone away, you noticed, from using that rock music.
Yeah, that was bad, yeah. Well, this one to me is a different type of score because there's a lot of mystery going on in Tree, and that's where I kind of got the noir aspects from it. So I really like the score throughout. I guess one con I have, and that's with this episode, that's with the entire series, I feel and I guess maybe because there's a kid show aspect to it, I feel whenever there's somebody, when they're oh, there's an internal threat, I think they make it as obvious as the day is bright that who that internal threat is. It's always the shadiest person around in this episode and the other one. Of course, the Quiet Prince is that guy. And this guy the whole time who's telling her stuff and leading her a certain path. I just feel this show, maybe they'll get better at that, but I feel every time there's an internal threat, they lay it on thick to who this person is, and they do it as a big twist, and it's never a big twist.
They clean that up. They definitely do a better job cleaning that up.
It's just oh, it's this guy. Has any Jedi in your mind used a gun as much as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, and I honestly think no other Jedi really has, and I think they purposely do that just because of the whole so uncivilized thing. Obi-Wan's very... just what he talks about with his lightsaber, being so civilized, and so I think that they probably make a point of making Obi-Wan use a gun a lot, because even Anakin doesn't use a blaster really that much. Not as much as Obi-Wan ever has to.
Yeah, I don't think he did in the movie, at least. I can't remember.
No, Obi-Wan, I think, is the only Jedi that's used a blaster in the movies, with the exception of Luke Skywalker.
Luke doesn't count. He wasn't a master when he was using that. I know in Empire he's still using it, but he wasn't a master in Empire.
So we're talking only Jedi Masters?
I'd put it in that, right? Because if what master you've left everything behind, you can feel just confident.
Yeah, then he's definitely the only Jedi Master in the movies to use a blaster.
Oh man, the Rey got shot. He was quite talented with that gun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has some moves. And then most of the episode, you meet Satine. There's an internal threat. They capture Satine. Do they capture Satine? And then how does Obi-Wan lose his lightsaber again? I forgot, because do they capture them at the same time or something like that?
No, because they captured him first, remember?
Yeah,
and then
okay.
he's like talking to Satine when she's doing her own thing, and they're like talking in like that code, kind of like, which was funny. I like that. I thought it was just when he got captured, he lost it.
Yeah, and then he has to resort to that. But yeah, that happens, and then it's revealed. And then, that's how he gets it back is when, what's the name of the guy that's like leading the Death Watch?
Vizsla. Pre-Vizsla.
Pre-Vizsla. So he comes up, he throws the lightsaber. The one I liked is when he sends those guys after them, and they fail, and he just walks up, he goes fair, and just shoots them.
Yeah.
Poor man, he's just doing his job. This guy's a Jedi Master.
Now you can see in certain aspects of the show taking like a dark turn, because like a little kid's gonna watch it and be like, why did he get shot? You know?
Yeah. And then like I said, it's a moment where it's the obvious twist. Okay, that happens, and then he throws him his lightsaber, and then the dark saber. So the dark saber, do we learn more about? And I know stuff has happened in Rebels. Do we learn more about the origins of the dark saber in the future?
I haven't watched all of Rebels, but I think Rebels really heavily goes into the history of the darksaber.
Should tell me how to fucking.
Oh yeah, Rebels retro.
Right. Alliteration.
But this in Clone Wars, if I remember correctly, I don't think they go into it too much. I think there's a little bit of coverage, but if anything, you just come to realize and know that it just symbolizes whoever is in control of the darksaber basically controls Death Watch. Is like they control like one of the clans or like something like that. It gives a Mandalorian a lot of power over other clans of Mandalore or something like that.
So Tar Vizsla, the darksaber was an ancient, unique black-bladed lightsaber created by Tar Vizsla, it's Vizla. Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order. The weapon was kept in the Jedi Temple after his passing, but members of the House stole the saber in conflict with the Jedi during the fall of the Old Republic. The darksaber was passed down generation to generation by ancestors of Vizsla, and because who's this guy that has the saber?
Right now, it's pre-Vizsla.
So he is somebody that is related to him, so he feels like it's his. And then who held the weapon ever? Okay, so it was Mandalorian that got
Don't read too far into the future of it.
Reading it all? No. Okay, no, that's cool. So, first Mandalore. So, I guess I'm trying to think, was there many of them in the Jedi Order, really?
Mandalorians?
Yeah.
I don't know, like going like into Legends, I don't know how much there were because there was the whole Mandalorian Jedi War and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that timeline too well.
So, how do you feel about this happens a lot in the prequel area, finds. You got Grievous, you got Vizsla here. How do you feel about a non-Jedi using a lightsaber?
I mean, it depends on the scenario. With Grievous, I'm okay because, he's got 4 of them, he's cool, and
I'm okay with them.
He's been trained by Dooku in the Jedi arts, so I don't mind that. Vizsla, the way he fights, it's not like a Jedi, it's very much, I feel like, just like a Mandalorian or a skilled like swordsman could fight in their own interpretation and their own fight style, which I really, really enjoy. And I never looked at it as being like an actual lightsaber, just another kind of like laser weapon. And I didn't mind that because you got like Magna Guards, Electropoles, and that sort of stuff. So
well, the darksaber to me, I liked it, but it's not exactly what we were talking about when I said I want a black lightsaber. It looks more like a samurai sword because the hilt is very thin, and the way it comes out, it has like a almost sword-like point at it. So I still want a regular black lightsaber, but how do you like the design? I like the design as far as being different, but I still want a canon like dark Star Killer, black lightsaber.
If it was a canon black lightsaber, like I would have lost my shit. It would have been super cool. Like, where did this come from and everything? But I definitely don't mind how it looks. I think it's a very cool weapon, and it gets really some cool spotlights later on.
And do you think Tar Vizsla like designed it that way because it's more of a sword like weapon instead of a lightsaber?
Yeah, I think it would make sense for him to adapt more of embody his own kind of culture into the weapon more so than it being 100% just a looking lightsaber.
Yeah.
So,
I got nothing else on this episode.
Nothing else?
No.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, I'll give it a thumb and a half.
Thumb and a half?
Your halves are weird, but okay. Voyage of Temptation. Ooh. What is it? As Satine heads to Coruscant. Protected by clones and 2 Jedi, Anakin, R2, and the clones find assassin droids in the cargo, while Obi-Wan tries to identify the traitor, another traitor one. So I'd say that's legitimately my only con, is that was 2 traitor things back to back, was kind of weird pacing. But I love this episode. I said to Taylor that it might be my favorite of the series, maybe next to Rookies. Of course, I didn't even know this before I said that. I looked, the great Paul Dini has done this. Paul Dini is the guy that did the Batman animated series, so he created Harley Quinn. I've talked about this before, so he's a fantastic writer. So it seems like a lot of the episodes he does, I'm a big fan of. It's just, he focuses, it seems like, a lot more on relationship sort of stuff, and obviously that was the deal. I messaged Chad, I was like, I love this episode. He's like, oh yeah, the Mandalorian stuff. I'm like, no, it's Satine and Obi-Wan stuff. Because there's some crazy reveals that happen in here. Yeah, so I'll save what my notes until we get further on. Taylor, what do you think of this episode?
I love this episode. There's a huge Darth Vader nod in this episode, which I truly love.
I think I don't know for sure if I know what you're talking about, but
well, I'll just jump to it, and we
is
can
it
come
the
back to it after. It's right when, you know, the Duchess
only a true killer?
Well, Duchess didn't want to kill the guy because it's against her way, and Obi-Wan didn't want to kill the guy because it would have disappointed the Duchess.
Mm-hmm.
So
the
lightsaber.
And he says only a cold. None of you want to be a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, and then Anakin stabs him, and then I don't know if you heard it, but they suddenly played Darth Vader's theme right at that moment. It was so good. They play it, and then he's like, "What?" And Obi-Wan's like, "Anakin," like.
See, this is the. Tell me about the episode, and then tell me what you thought. And then I have 2 big points about Anakin, and then about Obi-Wan Satine. Because yeah.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I love how it felt like a horror kind of vibe when you go down to the basement of the ship or the storage area, and the clones just running around. Because those spider assassin droids were terrifying.
They're pretty weak though. The clones took them out really quick. The big one.
The big ones are weak, yeah. But then it was just the little ones that you had to worry about. But
it's always the little ones.
The little ones, yeah. They I love
the younglings.
I love the senators in this episode, especially the big guy trying to eat the food and the spider droids or whatever.
He was fun. Yeah.
But I really enjoy. I like how they kept one of the spider droids and Obi-Wan's walking around trying to see which one it won't do its thing with and stuff like that. But yeah, there's just again it just goes to bat the fact that Satine just has so many people trying to take her down, and who do you trust?
It's very Padme at Phantom Menace attacked by clones, right? So I like that, and I guess I didn't say nothing. I love this episode. I love this because you had lots of good action. You had lots of good character moments for the future, and the stuff that I have problems with are not actually big problems. Other than like I said, there's a twist of who's the bad guy. It's stuff that I have problems with Star Wars as far as just characters being a little dumb. But the Obi-Wan and Satine stuff was really good. Because there's some stuff in canon you introduced that I'm not a fan of, and this is, I don't know, I'll have to watch the movies again with this in the back of my mind, but I think this is one that it doesn't affect the movies too much, so that's what I like. That's like I said with Ahsoka, it's such a big thing where this is okay, it's a love interest. I'm sure she's going to play more into it, but for me it felt the way they worked it in, it worked natural. Maybe it's because I like Satine as a character. If she would have been annoying, that would have sucked. It just was really well paced, and I felt like for 22 minutes, it felt like an hour, but in a good way. I felt like there's lots of stuff. My first note is Satine says that, which I love at the beginning, that they're just back and forth at each other's neck, and because they clearly have different ways of doing things, and whatever. Her weird thing is she's laying on a bed while there's other people around. It's sit up properly, fuck off. But she says this is Obi-Wan. He's he's full of half truths and half hyperbole. So I thought that was a great subtle insult to throw at Obi-Wan because it's kind of true. Let's see. I like that. I like the origin they gave Satine because also you talked about this before, but how because of the war in the past and the adventure she went on Obi-Wan, that's her whole method of not wanting to be, resort to violence, things like that. So I think that was good, and that gives more context of what happened in the past with the Mandalorians, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say something.
No, keep going, you're on a roll.
Yeah. What was I going to say? This I felt was a little hypocritical. She says just because it's when they're back to back, and it's after the scene Taylor described where all the little spiders are coming out, and she has her own little mini gun, which I didn't like the whole small Men in Black gun, but whatever.
So it's just an ion blaster.
Oh, right, it just deactivates things, right?
Yeah.
Still, I didn't like the look of it, but she says, just because I'm a pacifist doesn't mean I won't defend myself. And then Obi-Wan goes, now you sound like a Jedi. No. Obi-Wan, that's not the same thing. That's my problem with Jedi and in general. They're I don't know, they're quite self-righteous in the prequel era, which I know sometimes they're meant to be, but even Obi-Wan, it's like, because we've talked about before how we've talked about them being used as soldiers and all this, and wanting to keep the peace, but that statement's 100% wrong. She's trying to defend herself. The Jedi are usually not trying to defend themselves. They're popping themselves down in these situations.
Well, no, a Jedi's main core is to never use their powers for attack, only for defense.
Okay, then...
And that's what he was basically stating.
So, I feel like that is hypocritical, many things that they do in this series. And
well, that's exactly why, because they became, they became something they weren't supposed to be, and this will get into our debate we're having after, the Qui-Gon thing, but, the Jedi weren't supposed to be warriors and soldiers.
And for after, it means you should go check on our feed way, way back, because that will release in the public a long time ago.
But, the Jedi aren't supposed to be warriors or soldiers or generals in the army. They're supposed to be completely unbiased and keepers of the peace.
Then why does he feel this is the same way? It's not. Her defending herself because things are attacking her, and then the Jedi popping down in the situation being like, you gotta do this, and then resorting to killing people, or what Anakin does later on in this episode, is very hypocritical.
Yeah, because the Jedi have become very, very diluted with this kind of sense of what keeping the peace is, and the whole war effort. So in this sense, what Obi-Wan is saying is true, because he's saying, you're trying to defend yourself. That's what a Jedi does. We act only in defense, never attack. Yes, they get thrown into these situations, but that's why they are considered keepers of the peace, because they're thrown into very controversial situations that are heated and aggressive, and they need to come to a calm resolution. And if that means having to use their lightsaber as a way of defense to a certain degree, then that's what they do. In this case, they use their lightsaber in defense just to defend themselves against the droids, but never to go full on and to kill the bad guy. Anakin is Anakin about it. Yeah, that's why Obi-Wan expressed his disappointment in Anakin.
Yeah, but okay, so here's the thing. We're going to jump to this. I got some other listeners. So, Satine gets kidnapped at one point, and this is when Obi-Wan and Anakin are teaming up, and they're in the elevator. First of all, very strange time to ask him if anything ever happened between him and Satine. And I don't understand, what was Anakin's motivation to asking that right now? You think he would have appreciated that if Padme was under, duress and someone asked that? He probably would have chopped that person's head off with the ass. Why was he asking that?
I think it fits with Anakin because he's very much.
He's such an idiot.
He just
dumb.
speaks his mouth and just says these things, and I feel like that's a very Anakin thing to do, And I think for his own satisfaction, knowing the situation he's in, he would have really got a lot of enjoyment out of poking Obi-Wan about it, and it worked because he could tell Anakin was enjoying it, and Obi-Wan was getting frustrated about it.
Yeah, but then Obi-Wan got too angry because of the situation,
Yeah, but Anakin, he enjoys that, I think, because he can. I think what pulls him so much to that is because he would have never thought Obi-Wan had that scenario, but to have someone so close to Anakin be in a situation that is so very similar to the situation he is in, he's probably really eager to jump on that because he connects with people like that, the similarities. So.
But they never have a conversation about it,
Well, they might in the future.
I don't think so, because Obi-Wan seems pretty shocked or pretty surprised in Revenge of the Sith, and he's like, "Oh, the baby's Anakin's, isn't it?" Fucking.
No,
Obi-Wan's like Qui-Gon. He's dumb too, maybe.
He knew the whole time.
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah.
He had an idea, but he didn't know. No. So we're gonna leave the Obi-Wan Satine stuff in the background for a little bit. So Anakin, after Satine gets kidnapped, there's this whole chase. Obi-Wan gets her back, and then it's with who's the prince again? What's his name?
I don't remember his name.
He's some prince. He's also a traitor, and he has her at gunpoint. And then Obi-Wan's there, and then it's one of these things where they get the best of him. But for some reason, he's saying you either gotta let me go or kill me, which doesn't make any sense. Because they say, what do they say again? If Cole.
Well, he says because the woman who doesn't believe in violence won't kill me, and then you won't do it because you don't want to disappoint Satine or upset Satine or whatever like that.
Okay, so two things. One, and this goes for Anakin too, popping up behind and whatnot. We just in the past episode saw Obi-Wan without his lightsaber dismantle and fight Mandalorians fisticuffs and use a gun. And at one point, there's a guy that is on a jetpack. Obi-Wan jumps up to him and fights him mid-air. why is he not just throwing an elbow or using a force push? All you gotta do is force push him against the wall and knock him unconscious, and he's done.
Emotionally compromised.
That's such bullshit. Okay, what's Anakin's excuse? Because he's not emotionally compromised.
Anakin, he just wanted to kill the guy.
Yeah, he's just a fucking murderer little pig.
He is a murderer. He's already killed the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan doesn't know about that.
Yeah.
So that's my problem when this happens and Obi-Wan goes like, oh, Anakin. That doesn't make no sense because he's killing a defenseless guy. When they make it such a big deal in Revenge of the Sith about killing Dooku, and this is why what I think I attribute to that, okay, Jedi like Yoda and Obi-Wan, they're just stupid because they look past it. I attribute in real life, I think it's poor writing because even we were talking about this off-cast, so I'll bring it into it. I was rewatching the prequels and we were talking about Yoda, and I don't understand why Yoda, I felt like he didn't keep a good enough eye on him after Attack of the Clones. He knew that he did something bad or he was in pain, and then you're like, oh yeah, he just knows he's in pain, that's it. But why did Yoda never just have a sit-down conversation with him and be like, hey, like, what happened?
He did in Revenge of the Sith.
What? No, it wasn't about that, though. He just said, like, oh, search your feelings. And, like, that doesn't help Yoda. His feelings are he wants to kill people, so you're just telling him to invest that more. He never sit down from a Weasel and just be like, hey, what happened on Tatooine? And this is why I hate people like them and Dumbledore, people that speak in fucking riddles. Look what happens. Look what Dumbledore does. Look at what happened with Anakin. Bad shit happens if you don't just lay it out and say like, hey, this is what's happening. Let's go. Like, there's a chance they could have talked or saved Anakin, but no, they just don't approach the subject. Like, why after this, shouldn't he be going back to Coruscant, or shouldn't Obi-Wan and him have a talk and a sit down being like, you can't do that. Like, that's bad. But they treat it as almost like comedic in this, and I don't like that from a writing standpoint.
On the point of him killing, Dooku, the reason he focused on that was he killed an unarmed opponent.
This guy was unarmed too. He was standing there being like, "Oh, what
was
you
he unarmed?
Yeah, because they take his gun from him because Satine does. I'm pretty sure he does like one of those spinning moves and takes it from him.
Oh, I thought.
And even then, why does no one just chop arms off? Why do they only chop Jedi's arms off? Why don't they chop like this guy's arm off? If he had a gun, right? Anakin chops arm off, he'd be in pain, he'd collapse, and then like think about in the bar in Obi-Wan when he chopped in Attack of the Clones when he chops that changeling's arm off, they had her dead to rights. She was done because you know why? It hurts to lose your arm. You're in lots of pain. So the thing is, why doesn't he just do that?
He laid the ultimatum out, and Anakin just took it.
Okay, but then why is Obi-Wan? Because it doesn't happen in the next episode. Because I was always just like under the contents of in the movies. You got Sand People and Dooku. Dooku always went, okay, they didn't really know what happened, so they didn't even talk about it. And Sand People, that was Yoda's fuck up, because Yoda's an idiot too, and he didn't talk to them, so way to go, Yoda. But in this one, and that interrogation that happened a few episodes, that was like, not really too many people saw that. With this one, one was saying right there, and he kills a guy in cold blood pretty much. There's probably 50 ways he could have incapacitated this guy, and he chose just to kill him.
I think it was a full-on, very subtle nod that was just showing Anakin slip towards the dark side. Because
but then they should.
The show has done many, many other scenarios with Anakin going down that path where it becomes much more.
But then why do they gotta do it with shitty writing? Why do they gotta do that with Obi-Wan standing right there?
That's your Batman guy then, isn't it?
What? Well, it is. Yeah, and that's why it's keeping it from me at 2 thumbs up. So now I get into this because why can't you have that scene somehow in a different area, Like, I just don't get how Obi-Wan can see Anakin, just straight up murder this man and not even have a conversation.
He calls him out, Anakin.
That's not a call out. That's not a call out. Like, if that's how he dealt with prisoners, like, oh, prisoner number 1, shanked, so-and-so. So, now I think about it, that was, like, I like it as a moment. It's a 50-50. I like it as a moment of showing its little ticks of, yeah, he's killing people and he doesn't really feel it's bad. But then, why should he feel it's bad? Because no one ever tells him it's bad. He does this, he kills these sand people, they just give him a pass because he's the chosen one. And you know what? He's not the chosen one because it's a big fucking myth as we've discussed before. He did nothing. He did terrible, terrible stuff. So like really, they gave him a pass for nothing. Him, Qui-Gon, Yoda, they're all a bunch of fucking idiots in the prequel. They're so dumb.
I don't know.
I know.
Yikes.
Before I get back to Satine stuff, what I really enjoy about this episode, and this is why this sounds like I'm like an Ahsoka hater episode. Maybe it's just because that lost lightsaber episode, but I sometimes wish I understand that I like they introduce like were you head nodding? You don't even know what I'm about to say.
Wait, hitting or heading?
Head nodding. You're like.
Are you talking about the next episode, or because I wasn't head nodding or anything?
Oh, okay.
I thought like this.
Okay, I thought I said like a small word, and you're like, yeah, I'm like I haven't even made a point. What was I gonna say? I like episodes with other with like Kit Fisto and Plo Koon. That's all fun. I get that because it was 6 seasons or 5 at this point that they needed to do that. But I wish I maybe there'll be more coming up. I wish there was just more Anakin and Obi-Wan episodes of just them together. That's also why I like Ahsoka more, but I still just like seeing their dynamic together, especially because they are two, I'd say, protagonists. The prequels don't really have one protagonist. I think that's kind of a problem with some of the movies, but I like this episode just being just them two and seeing the relationship, whether it's the teen stuff. I wish there's more in the just murdering people, but I feel like you never too much get. It's always like them with Plo Koon, them with Ahsoka, them with somebody else. I like that this was, and I know it is them with Satine, but I mean like in the Jedi way, because Satine works in a different way. And with Padme, I think it works, but it's a bit different because Anakin's so drawn out over there, where I feel like they always split them up. Anytime Padme's in an episode, I always feel like it's Anakin Padme off, where this was like a lot of Anakin and Obi-Wan together while trying to save Satine. So I really enjoyed that. I liked seeing their dynamic. So
yeah, that's a good point.
As Taylor tries to cover while I drink water. So let's get into Satine stuff. So he never says I love you, but when she gets kidnapped and has a gun to her, might be dead to rights, and she says it, like, I may never see you again. She says, I love you since the day I met you, blah, blah, blah. And then, we didn't talk about, but they got some backstory. You got a Qui-Gon name drop in here, and that they obviously were in some ventures, and he had to protect her at some point. They may or may not have got on. Taylor's gonna be like, no, not my Obi-Wan, but...
Oh, no. I think there was...
Oh, my God! I did not need that visual aid. Oh, boy. Jesus. Choking on my water here. So, she says, I love you. And then and I want to get your context on this, or your thoughts on this, because I had heard about Satine in the storyline, and I had heard that, okay, obviously Obi-Wan cared for or loved this woman, but I thought it was just a love for his attraction, didn't go any further. He just chose the Jedi Order and went that way. And that's another conversation. I'll ask you this question next, but what do you feel as a fan of Obi-Wan saying that he would have left the Jedi Order if she would have asked him to? I thought that was huge when he said that, because I had never heard that before. I just thought he had attraction to a girl, and because the Jedi have these weird rules, that wasn't going to happen, but...
Yeah, no, I think that when you say that, like, as a Jedi, like, if I was in love with a Jedi, like a girl Jedi or something like that, and I said, like, I love you, and I know that she can't say that back because, you know, it's against their code, but if they say, I would leave, if you had asked, I would have left the Jedi Order for you, that's a way more than I love you right there. Like, that's a very powerful thing to say. And I feel like that does huge, you know, just props to, like, the development of Obi-Wan. Just overall, even in the actual movies, I feel like it really goes to show, like, I can't cover all of this right now because I can't spoil what happens further on, but it, with certain things that happen, unfold, this moment in Obi-Wan's character development, connected with other moments, really just adds the fuel to him becoming just a very, very wise and just like a powerful, very good, wise Jedi in A New Hope. It just builds to that kind of character and that goal.
Him wanting to lead the Jedi Order builds to being a wise Jedi in New Hope?
No, like, it's those moments, like, and the moments, like, in this where we learn that he had this huge love interest and it never actually happening.
Rey's mom.
Leads to just who he becomes in A New Hope as a Jedi. And I think it's just very, very, like, amazing. And again, I just think it's very crazy, like, because who knows, like, yeah, what if he did leave and married off and had little Satinians or little Kenobis and stuff, like, Would have been crazy. Like, I think it's cool that the Jedi Order gives them that power. Say, if you want to leave, you're allowed to leave. You know.
Well, so here's the thing. I got multiple questions now. So if they said you can leave, are you still? I guess because there's people like Maz. Are you still allowed to use the Force outside of being a Jedi, or is it kind of like when I was in judo? They always taught you you're not allowed to use this in the outside world.
I think there's probably, you know, they teach you, and they probably would instill within you, like, and hope that, you know, you have
Knowing
certain
these
limitations,
bastards, there's probably tens of thousands of rules if you leave.
Well, it really comes down to who you are as a person, and if you go, you would be going on your own path, and there'd be no hard feelings. In this case,
so you get to keep your lightsaber.
Count Dooku, I would probably think you would have to return to the Jedi Order. But he'd probably just go make a new one or something.
Costa, get us the receipt for this green lightsaber.
I feel like if he were to have it, it would probably just create too much of a tie to the Jedi Order for him, and he'd probably get like a stick or something as an alternative. But I feel like, you know, the Jedi they don't have major repercussions if you decide to leave the Jedi Order. Because look at Count Dooku. He decided to leave, and he went independent. And then he started the Confederacy of Independent Systems, which was a bit of a grind show.
There's still not much knowledge known about the time Dooku left, though, isn't there?
It would have happened around, I'm assuming, shortly after the Phantom Menace, because the Emperor needed an apprentice. But I think Dooku and Qui-Gon were very similar in that sense, where they saw certain things about the Republic and about where the Jedi stood. And Dooku wasn't in that sense like, I hate the Jedi like Darth Maul was. He was in the sense where he didn't believe that the Jedi should have been standing in a piece of, a powerful icon of the Republic where they're looked at as warriors. They need to be somewhere completely unbiased, which I like how, like in the new trilogy with Luke building his temple on another planet, completely cut off from the Republic, that's how it should be, an unbiased peacekeeper kind of setup, you know? So.
Or Qui-Gon, we don't know what he's like when he's younger, but that's because Dooku was his master. His master kind of took on some of those ideologies, right? Like,
yeah, and that's why it really, again, this goes into that debate, but I won't go too far into it. Again, it's why it shows that, you know, Qui-Gon, if he instructed Anakin, could have, and was so heavily on wanting to instruct Anakin, could have really changed certain outcomes. And again, why? Because there's even that sense where, like, Dooku talks in Attack of the Clones about, like, if Qui-Gon was here, he'd be with me now.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't go that far as if Qui-Gon would join him, but I think
Qui-Gon was kind of a shady guy.
Well, he definitely was an idealist in that sense, but, like, there are certain things, and I was, like, reading that Qui-Gon comic.
Watch your hand. You've hit my table 5 times.
He definitely was not afraid of calling out the Jedi Council.
Oh, well, you mean get that Phantom Menace. He calls them all out.
Which is a good thing to show, like, because it just shows how he doesn't fully believe in a lot of the things the Jedi Council was established and set up. I don't know, I can't remember where the fuck we just started this conversation from.
We were talking about if Obi-Wan left.
Right.
And I've always said this before, because we'll shove the Qui-Gon stuff. I always said before, like, I don't want a comic or animated show. If for that streaming service, I'm dying for a Dooku Qui-Gon one. As far as, like, prequel characters, there's not many of them I need to find out more about, but one, okay, I guess I would just take a Qui-Gon show or movie. Obviously, you're not going to get Liam Neeson. I'm talking, like, young, maybe Padawan, but with Dooku and Qui-Gon, I'm hoping that could be a streaming series, because I just think that would be so good.
That'd be cool.
Same thing Christopher Lee. He's passed away, so you need to get younger actors, but I think with them, because they were so much older, like Liam Neeson was late 40s and Christopher Lee was late 60s, it's a lot easier to take them younger than young Han, when it's like, this is supposed to be 5 years, it's like he looks nothing like or feels, but with Qui-Gon, you could get a 20, 30-year-old, and then with Christopher Lee, with Dooku, you could get like a 40, 50-year-old. Like, I've always really wanted that. I hope that happens at one point, and I'm gonna ask you that in a different podcast one time. But so and this is the other follow-up, because we'd always talked about this, I knew about this, but how, when you watched the Clone Wars originally, how did you feel about them adding this love interest? Because I had already said that it kind of worked for me, but I had the preference of hearing about it before I saw it. So when you first were experiencing it, where you find it, because, and that's the other thing I'll ask you too, honestly, Lucas added it in the prequels. How do you feel about the no, like, relationships, no connections rule? Because in the OG trilogy, that was not even hinted about, not even talked about, and even in the new trilogy, they haven't even talked about that being one of the codes, right? So I feel like they're kind of dropping that, or maybe they're like, hey, we should just let Anakin, like, have sex with Padme as much as he wanted and not be a secret, and maybe it would have been fine. Because there's a chance that if couples were allowed and he had these visions, he could have gone to Yoda or Obi-Wan and said, "This is what I'm dreaming about Padme," but he didn't out of fear, right? So there's a chance if they let them that it could have been saved,
If
right?
I remember, I think there's like a Legends comic strip that Lucas did about Anakin. He's Darth Vader, but he's dreaming about it, where he actually kills the Emperor with Mace Windu, and they grant him, the rank of Master and a wish, and they allow him to
wish?
actually...
You get a wish if you're on the council?
Well, they grant him because of what he fulfilled.
You get one wish, Qui-Gon.
He fulfilled the destiny. He fulfilled his destiny, and he
Jimmy
saved...
Cricket comes out.
He destroyed the Sith. So they allow him, and he asks, like, can I be wed, like, publicly to Padme and have my children or whatever?
And they let him?
And they let him. And that's
Why didn't he just kill Palpatine, you idiot?
No, that's what Darth Vader is like. He's dreaming about that, though. In this comic strip.
That was like a what? Fucking Vader just dreaming his own fanfic up. Oh, and I killed the Emperor. And even like that sounds so fan fiction. You get one wish, Annie. Like, oh my god. But so this is the thing, first talk to me about, like, how did you feel about when you first saw this about Obi-Wan love interest? Then I got another question. I got so many can of worms.
I had no problem with the love interest. I think it's very cool, and it shows how committed the Jedi are to their beliefs. Mm-hmm. To answer your other question...
He wasn't that committed, though. He would have dropped in a fly if she would have said something.
If she would have asked him to leave,
but to me, he's not. Left. But to me, he's not that committed then. He took the Jedi... He settled for the Jedi Order.
No, but if you're committed to something, like... I'm committed to my girlfriend. I'm not going around, like, doing other stuff on the side while saying I'm committed to that. And that's what it is. Obi-Wan didn't do stuff on the side, maybe. But, like...
But that's what I mean. You're saying he's committed to the Jedi Order. He's not, because you're committed to your girlfriend. If some, person comes and says, hey, leave your girlfriend, you're going to go, no. Obi-Wan was...
Maybe girlfriend is a bad example in relation to a group.
But then a job. What happened if Madison came to you and said, I'm going to break up with you, you don't quit your job right now? Which is a very strange scenario. But that's kind of what this is like, right?
No.
But Jedi is his job, it's his career, right? Like, in a way. Like, I know it's more about the Force and praying all that.
No, it's like if I'm essentially, like, if I'm Amish or something like that.
Oh, no.
And I'm Amish, my whole life, and then here comes Madison, she's like, Taylor, I love you. If you would leave, the Amish order, you can come.
But then don't you think if you would leave for Madison, I think that would confirm that you're more committed to her than the Amish. Where I think
it's just changing your commitments.
But that Obi-Wan's not that committed. Obi-Wan was ready to leave. If she just said one word.
At the time. But now, the way he said it was
But that's
very,
different. He settled.
He didn't settle. He made his decision because she didn't ask.
That's how you get a high school sweetheart, right? You break up, they're just like, I'm not ready for dating. And then you go and live your life, you meet somebody, you have kids with them, and let's say it's like 15 years later, you got these kids around, you got a job, and they come back and said, I'm ready to start dating now. You go, well, I kind of got all this stuff going on, so sorry. That's Obi-Wan.
Well, he was...
He can use some of the Rebels time travel and go back.
It wasn't like she asked and he said, like... It wasn't
Fuck you, Rebels.
It wasn't like she asked and he said, well, I'm not ready, I'm with the Jedi Order. She didn't ask and he didn't know, so he didn't settle. He just thought, she doesn't want it. I want the Jedi Order, then that's going to be my choice.
He settled for it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
because if he settled, then he would have instantly made that choice to I'm all yours now.
He settled and made a career and a life out of it, so he can't turn his life around.
Well, to answer your other question, though, about the the Jedi not having significant others, I'm a huge advocate for Jedi not having significant others.
My god.
I really, really am. I love the Jedi walking in the Jedi Temple.
Aren't
just
you
not
a Luke and Mara J fan too? Not being compromised.
I definitely, I won't lie, I like the Luke and Mara J because it was very cool in that sense how Mara J was the Emperor's hand and there was just whole dynamic.
Yeah,
Mara J fucking hated Luke.
Yeah.
And then Luke was just calm and they just fell in love with a love that shouldn't have been kind of thing. And I like that, but when it just kept on going and you had more and more other Skywalkers, like Kate Skywalker and Cal Skywalker, all that kind of stuff, I just felt like, it's getting too much.
But you still initially but that doesn't matter for his kids, the love interest thing you liked, and that's what I mean, but this is my point again too, if, like I said, there's a world where if they're allowed, the Padme thing is not an issue. like that whole secrecy, everything like that, that is all gone. An emperor doesn't have anything to hold over Anakin's head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing where it was kind of a rule that bit them in the ass. Again, Jedi.
It was, and then
And you got Obi-Wan on the side breaking these rules. Who knows what Qui-Gon's up? Shmi, we know him and Shmi got it on. So like they're breaking these rules.
I just think that the Jedi, it's for a long time. It's just all about just they're born and they don't have attachments. They don't have relationships.
But they do.
They control their
They do
emotions.
to people, but they don't though, because Obi-Wan doesn't in this. Anakin didn't. Luke didn't. Like, and even Qui-Gon to an extent didn't. Qui-Gon was a really emotional Jedi.
That goes to show that at the start,
bad idea.
when Anakin was introduced, that the Jedi Order at this day and age was starting to crumble and fall apart. That they were literally the instrument for their own destruction.
Because these rules sucked.
No, the rules worked. These Jedi.
Not for this generation, though.
No, this generation of Jedi just didn't implement and stand true to what they needed to be. And Qui-Gon does make nods towards that. And he does he wants to create that change, but he knows that he's outnumbered. He knows that it's not going to happen. The Jedi Council is too uptight and stuck up in these
But that's what I mean.
thoughts.
He's more on, he's not on my side with the Chosen One, but I think he's more on my side that he would not want these rules to be so strict.
It's not
I
that
think
he would
he's a
want to
total
be
hippie
strict.
Jedi.
He is hippie Jedi.
Yeah,
like
so he'd be like, fuck it for everybody. And
No, he wouldn't have the fuck.
Obi-Wan,
No
I saw you in Satine. You don't know that though. There's
no, I think
there's
so.
no canon. There's never been an issue of an episode or a comic book of Qui-Gon and Count Dooku and Qui-Gon be like, you know what, I think the Celibacy thing is a great idea. You don't know that for a fact.
Okay,
you're
right.
You're right. Like, I'm assuming.
The way that they display Qui-Gon is that he wants he wants everything to be. I can't get into this. I'm dropping it because this is for the debate. I can't.
Okay. But so then this is my other. I guess my problem with the no dating relationship things. I feel like it wasn't needed when Lucas introduced it because I feel like the only reason he introduced it is so Luke and OG trilogy. That's not mentioned at all, right? As one of the morals, anything like that. I know there would have been a place to, but still. He still kind of has some connection with Leia, so even then he would have been like, oh, I'm trained to be a Jedi. He kisses her in Empire, and he likes it, so it's a thing of like...
He didn't kiss her, she kissed him.
Okay, but he likes it. He smiles, and he's having a good time. So the thing is, there's nothing brought up like, well, you got to drop Leia because, that's a rule, you can't date. I think that Lucas, when he was writing the prequels, just found it really hard, because honestly, and that's some of the prequel problems, he's not great at writing screenplays. I think he wanted to make the conflict about Padme and not being able to be with her. And I think he introduced that just to make a conflict with Anakin and Padme for the prequels. I think if that wasn't a deal, he wouldn't have, because it doesn't really play much of a role. We don't really get any other characters. This is different because it's a show, it's many episodes, but in the movies, the prequels, it's not really brought up that much. It's not really a big thing. So I think he did that just to make... Just as like a plot device, like, okay, I'll keep them apart.
No, because they say, like, Yoda talks about it all the time, like, learn to let go, like, rejoice for those going into the Force, all that stuff, like, it creates jealousy leads to hate, so forth, and then even in the OG trilogy, they never showed Luke trying to get him some, like, tang or anything like that, like, they just showed Leia made that move, and then even so, after Luke became a Jedi, he never settled down. Even JJ was like this code. And he became an old hermit.
You don't know that for sure.
No, but even Han Solo says like he went after the whole thing fell. Like he went to go recruit Jedi and form a new Jedi.
But you don't know that he didn't hook up with anybody at some point.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Well,
Rey Skywalker.
But because that's the thing. No, I don't think it's Rey Skywalker. But they've never also. To your point, you can say that, but at the same point, you can say they've never mentioned, like, oh, and then he brought in all the old ways of the code, right?
Yeah.
And even Yoda, I think Yoda knew what was up, because Yoda said to destroy the books, so he knew they all screwed up on this rule.
No, he knew the books weren't in there. Mm-hmm. He even calls out, he says, anything that is in there, that is in that tree is nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess, which was the book she stole. He literally lays it out flat, and Luke was just like, oh, it must mean that she already has knowledge, but it went over his head, literally.
So then, honestly, I'll continue, because we've gone on a wide span, but that's what this series is about. So, do you think that, honestly, 9, I don't think, well, and even when her and Kylo, let's be honest here, but anyways, So let's say Kyle, I think he's probably going to die in episode 9. I think you're kind of coming around that he's probably going to die. We know it'll be at 10, 11, 12. Do you think that's something that will be brought back? Because I don't think it will be. I think most fans are on my side. I don't think it's a big thing. I just think it's something that's not needed because we've shown then with like Clone Wars and other canon that there's still like love interests in there, right? So there's not much of a, and with there being no Jedi, there's not much of a conflict if it's just Rey telling a bunch of kids like don't hook up. Like it's just kind of weird, you know? Like I don't think that's something will be enforced in the future if we get 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, I think the new Jedi will be very much loose on that kind of
Very
rule.
Qui-Gon. Very Shmi. Yeah, Shmi Skywalker will be a plaque. All right, let's get back to this episode. I guess that's why I ran, because I didn't have much to say, because at the end my notes was, they killed that guy, I said, why didn't they force push him, yada, yada, yada. So, and then they're going to Coruscant, and they're going to talk to the Senate. So, yeah, I love this episode. I'm going to give it, though, a thumb and a half. I was going to give it 2 thumbs. Really, I think it's my favorite episode as far as the drama, the pacing, but just because I think that Anakin kill when we talk about was a little lazy, just the fact that it just was straight up murder. So, yeah, that's a thumb and a half, but really, it was still one of my favorite episodes we've watched this far, because every second something was happening, action or reveals, so.
Thumb and a half.
Why is it your thumb and a half? Why no 2 thumb for you?
It was really, really good, but then again, I found like...
I'm the clone troopers.
No, I love the clone trooper action, but it definitely, the Darth Vader thing was great and all that, but I don't know, it just being on the ship, it just, all the senator stuff, I don't know, maybe there's just a little bit slow. It's definitely like
slow. There's so much going on.
There is, but I definitely have more favorite Satine moments. Maybe it's because I know like future episodes that are much more I favor more,
wow.
And if I hadn't seen those episodes, this would have been a 2. So what the hell? Let's give it a 2.
Wow. Oh, now you're giving it a 2?
I'll give it a 2.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Duchess of Mandalore. This is the last episode of this episode. On Coruscant, Satine disguises herself as a civilian to avoid assassins as she pleads for the Senate to leave her planet in peace. Now that's jumping forward a bit in the middle of the episode.
Really jumping forward.
So what actually happens, they go, it's very much like Attack of the Clones. She's like, she's protected, she's taken to the Senate so she can speak. It's like Phantom Menace, it's like all those, they have the whole floating weird Senate room, which is very strange, but they have that, and then they get this message from, who's the guy again?
I can't remember his name.
He's just some guy that was someone in the government. Someone in the government of Mandalore, and it's this clip, which again, it's very much like the twist that. So it's a clip, pretty much just saying Satine she doesn't want the Republic to come to Mandalore, right? Because she feels that'll make them a war zone, and it'll bring the war to them. And of course, Sneaky Palpatine. I love this episode with Sneaky Palpatine. Like, no, I wouldn't do that. It would help you. And he doesn't really give any reasons. And then he just has this blue alien guy who's all the time like, yeah, it would help you. And then he's just this hype man.
Great.
Oh yeah, he's just this hype man. Whatever Palpatine does, he does. Like in 1 second, he's just like, we're gonna go there, and you have no problems. Then at the end, he's just like, we're very happy to be working with you. So, like, people should see through their bullcrap. But either way, and I guess it could just be chalked up their politicians. But so she doesn't want the Republic to go to Mandalore. And what is, because I know they might explain it, I'm forgetting, what is Palpatine but / like emperors? Like, what is their real reason for wanting to get to Mandalore? They just want to take it over, right? And have it under their control?
Yeah, they were using it as a means to get or force Mandalore to basically come into war. And to be honest, like, I don't really see why. I guess the droid armies could go and just take over the planet, forcing the Republic to go there. But then again, it's not like other planets that the droids could just take over, Dooku could take over, because if they were to go in there and take it over, then Death Watch would resist, and Death Watchers obviously at this point we know is very, very powerful, and they have a large,
and they'll kill you.
They will, and they know obviously if the droids go and attack Mandalore, it would probably unite Death Watch and the people of Mandalore in a defense effort, which it wouldn't go well, and then it would have the backing of the Republic, but it wouldn't. In the end, it just
because Death Watch's idea that Dooku, they don't know about the Emperor, but that clan, that team is gonna help them retake Mandalore, right? But really, the Palpatine and Dooku, they just want to retake it. And even with Death Watch, whether Death Watch is leading it or they get rid of Death Watch, they want that planet under control, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of using Death Watch.
They're kind of using Death Watch. For some reason, like, I don't know if it's just Palpatine, but as episodes come on in later seasons, like, there's just some weird fixation the Empire has with Mandalore. Like it's just
I
it's
think
crazy.
Dave Filoni has a weird
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Considering how he's directing, I think it's just the fucking Boba Fett thing. Everyone loves. They just want to be on that planet. But you can also chalk it up to Palpatine just wants as much power as possible, right? So another planet under his control, it's like, oh well, good for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I can always kind of chalk that up. So that's what's kind of happening, and that behind the scenes stuff happens a little bit later on in the episode. But they go in the Senate meeting, and then they get this clip from like a hologram clip from a former governor or someone in the government of Mandalore, and he's pretty much just saying exactly that they shouldn't do what Satine wants, and they're saying exactly what Palpatine wants.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when I was watching the same thing as a twist, you kind of know, okay, this feels pretty doctored, it doesn't make any sense, and then. Man, in the middle episode, like what is happening, which I love. After that Senate meeting, and then after we'll get into the bad thing happens to your friend there, Obi-Wan keeps running up. He's like, I heard the Senate meeting didn't go your way. I heard people are looking after you. It's like, where is he? He just keeps running up to her. It's very strange in this episode. But then she gets she's in disguise, like the description. She gets some information from a guy. He gets taken out by some Mandalorian, and it's like the full speech of the whatever he is in the government there that's backing saying we should listen to Satine, and the whole episode is just pretty much a big chase episode of her and Obi-Wan. I really liked it. I think this was my least favorite of the two, but that's not saying it's a bad episode. I think it was just more a bit basic. I like the Emperor stuff. I always like seeing him. I like that we actually got to see the Emperor because it's been a while. I don't know. We've had a break. I can't remember the last time we saw him in season 2.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It would have been like the beginning probably.
Yeah. So I like seeing him. Palpatine's such a fun character because there's so many layers to him. Seeing Dooku in there, seeing a bit more Mandalore. So this definitely felt like the wrap up to the episode, but I thought there were some good chases, and obviously then Satine, she gives her, because the law's after because they think she killed this guy, which wouldn't make sense if you look at the trajectory, but apparently they don't have even detectives in this world. They just you're under arrest. You know, they're so far advanced in some ways, but otherwise not so much. I don't even think they have iPods there. And then, so I really enjoyed this episode. Taylor?
Yeah, it was a good episode. I liked how she was set up. I like how this Mandalorian followed them to Coruscant and was kind of keeping his eyes on him, trying to take him down. And I love the fake evidence. And I love how Palpatine, throughout most of it, he's just got his little smirk. He's like, I'm fucking playing you guys so good.
I hate the way Palpatine looks, though, like his animation. I like the Emperor. He just, his cheeks and he just looks like a bird. I don't like it.
I really enjoy when they play their actual recording and Padme steps in. I love, Padme and Satine, they both, could be, best friends, probably, but,
Wow.
Yeah, when Padme plays the recording and just...
Something's come in!
I love when Palpatine, I like how he catches himself, but he lets his anger get the better of him for a moment because it really was an issue.
Yeah.
A really serious wedge in his plans or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that, and he just catches himself angry and then just puts on a smile and then I just imagine how upset he must be. He has to stand in that fucking room and be like, we're so happy. On behalf of the Republic, we apologize. You could just see it, just the anguish on his face.
Mm-hmm.
But his associate I really enjoyed in this movie, the blue guy or whatever.
Yeah.
It always makes me wonder because clearly he is very well aware of Darth Sidious. I feel at this point.
I don't know. I've always wondered how much he knows and what he doesn't know.
Well, that's the weird thing because he must have been a good politician at one point because he was the advisor to Chancellor Valorum in Phantom Menace.
Or that was just his plan all along.
What
just to appear like Emperor, right? To appear like he was a good politician, but really.
But he served a different chancellor before Palpatine.
Yeah, but maybe he was with Palpatine, still friendly, and be serve with him, and eventually.
Oh, so more people getting in place.
Yeah, because Palpatine's always about that.
He is all about.
Who is this blue guy's name, anyways?
I used to know it. I can't remember.
Blue guy. People have searched it as well too. Masamita. Skin color blue.
Masamita.
And then Anakin's not really in this episode that much. And then Obi-Wan and Satine get in a big fight in the middle. There's less relationship stuff here, but he says, "Oh, you're my friend," and she goes, "Oh yeah, we're friends and nothing more." And it's we get it.
Friends and nothing more.
And then they get in a big argument about their that's one good thing throughout the whole 3 episodes. It's all about their ideologies. They get in an argument about that. And then at one point she calls him Obi, which was very strange for me to hear. So.
Yeah, that's her. Well, you don't call him Obi.
I call him Obi-Wan. I never just call him Obi.
Yeah, she calls him Obi. That's her go-to thing. I really enjoy the fights, and these, like, the Mandalorians are just, whenever they're going into combat, it's always a good time. They're always so, like, creative and improvising and stuff, and I love that one fight sequence that he has with Obi.
Mm-hmm. In the aftermath of Battle of Endor, Amida was the highest-ranking political leader in the Empire, and this is a canon. With no control over imperial military, the Grand Vizier was helpless as a newer fraction. Oh, great. And recently established New Republic and seized large parts of the galaxy. Amida attempted to hold the regime together from Coruscant, but as Throne World was roiled by civil war, military leaders Rex and Gallius Rax, and Ray Salone eventually took control, leaving Grand Vizier stranded. After attempts of surrendering and suicide, Amida was confined to the Imperial Palace. When he escaped Coruscant, formally surrendered the Empire by signing Galactic Corinth, thereby ending Galactic Civil War. As part of the agreement, he was afforded continual rule on Coruscant as a leader of provincial government, but under surveillance of Republic, overseas Amida and his administration were rendered powerless. So he ended up not going to jail, and he still had a government position, but they didn't let him have any more power. So,
why did you laugh when he tried to commit suicide?
Just brutal. Not what I was thinking. Just like like sometimes these stories get a little darker. So
yeah, that's canon. You said.
Yeah, that's what happened to Masamida. I always wonder. So yeah, I don't know about before. There's not much. Yeah, Vice Chancellor Lorem. Let's see. He was ousted. Voted no confidence. He became close associate with Palpatine during his 2 terms. Dark Lord's intent on... Wait a second. Eventually became aware of the Chancellor's alter ego, Darth Sidious. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he wasn't a bad guy before. It's just that he ended up working with Palpatine, then he found out, and he's like, yeah, I'm evil too. And
I don't think he was like, yeah, I'm evil too, but, yeah, I believe in, your galactic reform kind of idea for an empire over a republic, your dictatorship. I believe in it.
Yeah,
because a lot of that, it's when he made that change, a lot of people, Admiral Yularen?
No.
In the Clone Wars? He's like that guy with the accent, and he doesn't he serves under Anakin, he's got the mustache, and he talks in that British accent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
isn't he the narrator? Same voice as the narrator?
Probably.
Yeah.
Him and like many other Republic officers, when they made the transition, it was just a government change, so they all made the transition and were like, yeah, this is cool, this is the new thing or whatever. He dies in the Death Star, actually. They confirmed that he's one of the characters around the table in A New Hope.
Yikes. I'll give this episode a thumb up. I really enjoyed it, but not as memorable as the other one. It's just more of a politic one, which the politics weren't even that bad, but I would give it a thumbs up.
This is a thumb and a half.
Yeah, and easily for me, my favorite episode of these 3 was the Voyage of Temptation.
Voyage of Temptation.
Would that be the same for you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's hard because I did give that one 2 thumbs up, but I mean, I do really enjoy the first one. I don't know, I'll give it Voyage of Temptation. Mm-hmm. I like that Darth Vader nod. That was really well done.
Taylor, let the lovely people know where they can find us while I get my laptop charging cable to end this episode.
Charging cable. Well, ladies and gentlemen out there, you can find us with your internet connection or your data, because we're data worthy. But if you want to save your money and donate your data money to us, Patreon, which is where you'll find this and many other awesome Clone Wars retrospectives and other great geek content that we are releasing. So be sure to tune in to the search bar, Geekverse Space Podcast on Facebook, Geekverse Cast on Twitter, or SoundCloud, iTunes, Podbay especially. We appreciate those the most.
No, we don't.
Everywhere you go, we're all over the place, all over the interwebs, because we're the Geekverse.
May the force be with you.
Always.